Sometimes when you are coaching a Bafana team or you are a manager, you will have people popping in the hotel trying to convince you otherwise. We hardly hear those stories now. I think it's one thing that is helping this coach. You will have agents who come and persuade you playing Togozo's Kakan because you feel that he must be seen by the world. But on merit, does he deserve to be in the team? No. We must give credit to this coach for this job he's doing.
Beautiful people, mtana sekhaya, mtana semzini, mtaka gogo, mtaka auntie, mtaka ma. Welcome to our show, Ntokozo's Kickoff. I'm your host, Ntokozo, Koloba Skakani, outside kwamasho esiqanqaweni. As you know, we talk about football, we talk about PSL, we talk about Motsepe Championship, ABC Motsepe, and today our guest uzositshela everything because he's very knowledgeable about the game. He's a coach who's been coaching lower ranks, but now he's going to tell us why he's not there, because most of the coaches that he was working with, they are there. But again, he will introduce himself. Umsholozi, but uzositshela ukuthi umsholozi owakuphi. Lento coaching with Alini. Mfana kithi.
Bhuti wami.
Welcome to our show and thanks for honoring our invite. And taking your time to come here.
Thanks very much, Ntokozo. I must thank this opportunity that you've granted or created for us to be part of this amazing show. And I must acknowledge and thank you for coming up with this great initiative, because we are creating a platform for many of us who are unknown in the coaching world, just in the football world. This is Coach Mafa Zuma, affectionately known as Uele, because I'm a twin. I'm staying in Chesterville.
Staying in Chesterville. Coaching, when did you start having the love of coaching? Because I heard you once played for Amazulu, and then they're coaching in Kaleni. Just take us through.
I think I'll have to go back during my playing days, because that one will always lead to me becoming a coach. Because I fell in love with this thing of coaching because of being a player before. I started playing football at the age of 7. You'll always have that group where you'll have the ball, just play unstructured football. So as time went by, we then started taking the football serious because we asked our parents to buy us boots. So when they bought those boots, we went for trials at Amazulu. It was King's Park Soccer back then. In actual fact, it's one of our friends who was playing for Arrows, Andy Lewanda, known as Payaya. He is the one who told us this weekend, there are trials there, let's go. When we went there for the first time, we never made it. But we never gave up because we were driven by this passion of loving football. So we played for African Wanderers before we went back to Amazulu for the second stint for doing our trials. So as we were playing there, he also called us again. He said, hey, there's a second chance. You guys can come if you don't mind. We then went. It was Coach Joel Fire, Coach Wanda Mtambo. Hey, may their soul rest in peace. Then it was Coach Boyzim Ngoma from Mlazi. Those are the coaches who selected us. Hence, we managed to play for a development of Amazulu.
And how long did you play for?
It was 2 seasons, because just one step, it was abo Pakata, Ngobi Matsole, Mfundo Matsonsi, Hlakanipho Mkhize, who went to Joburg. Most were playing for Super Sports. I remember Hlakanipho Mkhize, he went to Kaizer Chiefs. Ngobi Matsole went to Mamelodi Sundowns. So we were left behind. Unfortunately, there's this tendency when the first team gets relegated, in most cases, they tend to close the development because they will always give you that thing of saying financial constraints will always boil down as to say we can no longer keep the development. So that's when the Amazulu development was closed. I think we were sitting at home for like 2 to 3 months. The late Rocky Madlala, owner of Golden Arrows, he came to our house. He was one chairman who always go to the grounds when he's looking for players. We're coming from the grounds, our late mom is telling us, hey, there's a guy who came here. He just gave a description as to what car he was driving. Then he told us, there's a number he left. He said, you guys must call this guy. We called him. He said, can you kindly come to Kwakijima in Lamontville? Someone had identified us. I'm not sure who was that person. We then went to him after school. We saw the guy. He told us, hey, I've got an interest. I want you guys to come and play for our team because Golden Arrows had recently gained promotion to PSL. So they wanted to sort of have like a reserve team. Then we went there. There was a coach from Peter Marisbeck, Mr. Tuwe Skulu. Yeah. He's the one who was our coach at that time with Coach Cabo Zondo. We then signed. He asked us, Chairman Rocky, he said, in your area, guys, do you perhaps have people who play similar football to you? You know, they say one hand washes another. Yeah. That's how we repaid Andy Lewanda. That's the story how we managed to sign a PSL contract with Golden Arrows. He took us to Amazulu. Now it's vice versa. We took him to Golden Arrows. And guess what? From that crop, he's the first player who signed a PSL contract. So I think it was just a blessing in disguise that we had to have him in that setup because there were a lot of things that were achieved during that period.
And how old are you at that time?
17, 18. Yeah, because we were playing for under 17 for Arrows. Yeah. I mean for Amazulu that time, yes.
Before you went to Amazulu, was there a team Ekas you were playing for?
Yeah, there was a team. Yeah. But as I'm saying, it dates back because one grew up, in fact, one was born in PMP, but we left at an early age. Then we went to a place called Efolweni. So much talent in that place. There was abundance of talent. Where we stayed for like 10 years before we came to Chesterville. So from that age, like your 10 years to your 14, there were teams that we were playing for. Your Real Magic, your Mighty Chiefs, Juniors, you know, there were a lot of teams that were there. But when we came to Chesterville, there's a team that was called Impala United. Then there was Chesterville United Brothers. Those are the teams that we played for, Chesterville All-Stars, before we started taking our football serious.
Yeah. And then at Chesterville, I heard that there's a lot of talents there. And there was a guy by the name of Ukupa.
Yes.
The guy was talented.
Yes.
But beside Ukupa, who else that was so talented in your era?
There were those who were there before us. Yeah. You likes of C. Ngobo. You also had Bush Sandile Bush Ndlovu. The uncle of Tata Sbiya, the current coach of TTC at Amazulu. Then there was Cuba Nene, whom we played with at Amazulu. Ngobi Matsole, formerly with Sundowns. Andy Lewanda, formerly with Arrows. Then it's myself and my twin brother who played for Arrows and Amazulu. There was abundance of talent. You still have Ricardo Kos, who's currently playing for Super Sport. Nkosi King playing for Arrows. There's so much. There's so many of them. No, what happened with Ntuli is he's from Kettleridge. Okay. But because he wanted to be closer for school, he was staying in a place called Mayville, not far from us. That's why most people think he was from Chesterville. So he was seen while he was schooling in that school. So he's not originally from Chesterville. But because of the love he had for the area, mainly based on the tournament that we normally host, I think there were a lot of things that made him to be staying in that area.
Okay, then you went to Golden Arrows, you played there.
Yeah.
Did did you get promoted to the first team, or you just ended up playing just for it reserve? And then what happened?
So when we left Amazulu going to Arrows, we played there with the hope of signing for the first team. Unfortunately, our father is a polygamist.
Okay.
He's here with us, he's there, he's all over, you know.
Okay.
So what happened is, he's one very strict person who gave birth to us. We were doing our matric. He decided to take us out. He said, I can't have you guys mixing football with your
school.
So he said, you will always be there to join this thing again of playing football. I'm not disregarding your talent or your passion for the game, but for now I want you guys to focus. We then went to the late Rocky Madlala. We told him, Che, this is a situation. We can't mix this because our parents are telling that we have to put focus on our school. We did our matric. When it was time for us to go back to Arrows, we couldn't because of the constraints, you know, having to further our studies and so forth. I think that is where we lost somehow the interest of applying our trade or taking our football serious as we were still players.
Okay. So you decided to stop playing for Arrows?
We were out.
You focused the schooling?
Yes, we focused the schooling. Then we were out of competitive football, but we still kept on playing. It's just that we could no longer compete for PSL contracts at that time.
So basically,
yeah, we were playing a Luxin.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you change now I want to be a coach now because we
yeah.
So we need to decide because the twins.
Yes.
You decide you decide by yourself.
No, I decided by myself because when we were playing for Denfield, we signed a contract with Denfield. It was coached by Coach Zippo Dlangalala. So what happened is, I had a knock on my knee, but my brother kept on playing.
Yeah.
It somehow took me out for 6 months. I then said to myself, let me rather be productive outside football and still give back to these youngsters who are coming after me, because at the end of the day, if I can no longer be effective while I'm still playing, let me also assist on the side. I think that is when I took the decision. But my brother kept on playing. I then said to myself, how do I do it in terms of assisting these youngsters? I started coaching your under-13s without getting any proper guidance. You know, sometimes you'll always be on the field, help the youngsters, you do your frog exercise because you are not familiar with the modern trends, you're not familiar with the setup. You are just doing based on the knowledge that you have. You know, that's why I started coaching you under 13 from my location. Then there was a coach who was coaching Summerfield recently, Lungangwani. He's the one who spotted me, said, hey coach, try to take this thing serious because somehow there is potential. I'm currently coaching in private schools. If you don't mind, can you come along with me so we can be able to assist? Then there was an academy which I joined, which was dealing with private schools. I remember vividly there's a school called Clifton here in Morningside. The player, what's his name, from Royal AM, Andy Limpisan.
The chairman?
Yes, the chairman. I coached him from the other 13s during that period, you know. So, and the late Pega Pagati's son from Lamont in Durban school.
Yeah.
I also coached him there. So I was interacting with most young players, and it grew me in a way because it made me to understand all levels. You know, sometimes it will be under 13, the following week it will be under 15, but I kept rotating from each and every week. And that's why I won a crew and came to understand as to what is coaching really.
Okay, then there was a time you coach, I think there's in Ashley.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the first time you coach a competitive league.
True. Very true.
And then you won the league, the promotion, eh?
Yes, we won promotion.
And then you won the promotion again with Summerfield.
Yes.
I think you are the most coach who've won promotions, ne?
Yeah.
But you take us through what I challenge injani because lapha ngiyeza kuthiwa ama-refer bhatalwa. How was it? Coaching the kids. Then now you go to coach the
my brother.
senior players. or the elder team?
Those are my brother. Please allow me to take you back, because now you've just touched on a very sensitive issue. You know, I'm coaching these academies. I'm also taking part-time at Transnet. You know, there's a team that I was playing for at Transnet. The time when we were going to play in Richards Bay, all the management and the technical team were late. Then there was no one who was going to coach the team. When they arrived half-time, I was already making coaching points. And then there's a guy who was part of the Ashley management. His name is Bonelo Buteles. He resides in Pinetown, currently working there at Transnet. He's the one who said, hey, coach, you've started this thing. Please carry on. You know, let's not disturb you. I'm telling you, from that tournament, we ended up playing the final. After we finished, he approached me and said, we've got a team playing in SAP. I think they were sitting position 14. He says to me, without putting any pressure to you, can you assist us, because we want to save relegation with this project. We played, we ended up finishing number 7 on the log. Then they said, please try to prepare a pre-season and so forth as you go for in-season. You will be in charge. Through the grace of God, we ended up winning the league. We had to go to Kokstad for playoffs that were going to take us to ABC Motepe League. 3 guys. It was Simpiwe Ngema, Sibonelo Butelezi, and Simpiwe Nyawos. Those were the 3 guys who were owning that team. And today, I must give credit to them, and I must also thank them, because they gave me a platform. When I was unknown in the coaching world, I ended up promoting the team to the first to ABC Motepe League. From there, one thing led to another. So I'm one coach who always wants to succumb to being a second best. Now also here I am going to coach a team, ABC Motepe League, with no experience. 2013, I had no experience. We ended up playing for first 10 games. We were sitting number 6th. But I believe and I understand today that the owners of the team had that fear of saying we can end up losing the status, because here we are coming with someone who's not having much of experience. So they introduced Coach Tata Sibia, the one who's a coach at TDC at Amazulu now. He came, we worked with him, and I learned under him. You know, being a coach who's experienced more than me, I had to take what he was coming with. And I must also thank him, because there's a lot of things he introduced me to. But I ended up leaving.
So by that time, sorry to cut you, by that time, yes, you are coaching Ashley.
Yes.
Are you a qualified coach in terms of, have you attended any coaching courses, or you just went and Mafa coaching?
I think, to be honest with you, at that time or during that period, I never saw it as something that I should take serious, because to a certain extent, I never saw me going for the patches. But as time went, I was told that I need to balance this with patches, because it's one thing we neglect as coaches. I remember very well, it was conducted by Coach Franz Mokosh from SAFA, who was a technical director, including yourself, Coach Towozo. We did that D license, including yourself. Many coaches who were there when I went for my introduction, did my D license. I started opening up to the more of coaching world now. I saw other things which were not familiar, you know, in a very different way. But it was more of understanding the modern trends of the game, also having to understand intro as to how you coach, how you apply yourself, your preparation, your session plans, and so forth.
So, Mafa, you're coming back to my point. Yes. The other day I was telling this other guy, coaching is very deep.
True.
It doesn't mean if you're a good player, you're going to be a good coach.
True.
You understand?
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll become a manager. Sometimes you'll become a scout. You know? So by touching the Chukuchwena, after going to a course, it's open up your mind. It's where you started seeing good manja as in no.
Yes.
I'm working now.
Yes.
Because coaching is sometimes you plan the session.
True.
And it's not easy.
True. It's not easy.
So I always tell people with coaching, it's so deep. Because everyone now is trying to coach.
You know, the sad part about this, Coach Towozo, you've just alluded to the fact that not most of us who became professional players will become good coaches.
No.
And I'm going to say this in a very nasty way. Sometimes, even ex-professionals, we tend to neglect this thing of balancing it with the badges because we always think or assume everything automatically will just work themselves out, which is not the case. You know, I didn't know that as a coach, you have to come 1 hour before the session because you can't be perceived as a coach who plans on the job. You understand my point? You can't be placing the markers while the players are there. You understand my point? So we've got to have all the measures in place. Your session plan will always guide you. You understand? I didn't know that you can manipulate a session based on the numbers that you have on the field. You know, sometimes you'll want to force. I'll go at home, plan a session. If I say the session will consist of 14 players. Now, if there are 2 players who have given excuse, maybe they've got flu or otherwise, hey, my session plan is dead. I need to be proactive. Because here are the players. You know, I can't be thinking on the ball. I have to be proactive and see how do I get out of the situation without this player being able to see that there's a hiccup now. You understand? So it's been that situation in terms of having to understand coaching. And we've got to be versatile as a coach. You know, we've got to have that uniqueness. What sets you apart from the rest?
Yeah, because if you check best coaches or good coaches, even in our own country, they have badges.
True.
They all have badges. There's no shortcut.
No, there's no shortcut, Coach Doros. I'm truly blessed because when I started taking this thing of coaching serious, Coach Mangoba was coaching at Amazulu. I always take my hat off for that coach because he always created a platform for me. You know, sometimes when these coaches are on the field coaching, they don't have time. But Coach Mangoba created a platform for me. He said, come with your notebook. I'm giving you a platform to come and sit here. Take notes. After the session, come and ask me, what is it that was conducted on the day? Where this can help for my own growth, you know? So from many of my mentors, he's amongst who have helped me. The list is endless. I can count. Your coach, Steve Kompela. You've got your Dominic Isaacs, whom I worked with at Friends. You've got Papi Zotwane, whom I worked with at Hellenic. You've got Clinton Lassen. I worked with him at Summerfield. You've got your Ronnie Gabriels, whom I worked with at Summerfield. So these are my mentors from time to time. People that I always interact with, Coach Mandla, I'll take a call and fold them. I've got this situation in my training session. How do I tackle it? How do I approach it? Because I feel somehow it's beyond my situation. It's beyond my control. But if I've given you this, and guess what? They will always tell me, hey, we've came across this. This is how you should apply yourself. But not taking away from my coaches whom I also worked with, your likes of Lindani Shays, affectionately known as Mantai.
Yeah.
You know, there's a story with that coach. When I left coaching the team at Etegwini Coastal, we had won. I was still playing there because, you know, most teams in Durban, we played for them because football is our thing, you know. We came to Coastal at a time where we were playing Nedbank and we were supposed to play in the last 82. And guess what? We were going to play Orlando Pirates.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. What a game. They won in the dying minutes where Siabonga Sangweni scored the goal. I think it was a header.
Yeah.
We would have sessions, and there are some sessions which were conducted by Coach Mangoba. Then he just put a class. After session, he will sit down, randomly ask questions because now he wanted to get this sense of understanding from us. Is he what he's conducting? Are we getting an idea as how the team should be structured, as how the team is going to play? Do we sense this thing? Do we smell this thing? Do we see an idea as to how we're going to approach the game? And I think they did very well because I was also coaching at that time. I would take the warm-ups, and that's why I'm always very thankful to Coach Lindani Shays, Mantai. He gave me a great platform. You know, he's amongst coaches who played a huge role for me to understand football in totality. Yeah, so when we played that game, I think one gained a lot out of it, you know, because even after game, when we went to the hotel, we came back, Coach Mango still insists as to how we consider the goal. And it's a lesson I took from that day, which works for me today.
Yes, when I was playing for Amazulu, he said to me, Koloba, after your playing days, you must go for coaching. I said, Coach, why? I said, no, I'm telling you, you'll make it because you are knowledgeable.
Yes.
Okay, let's go back.
Yeah.
We are coach lapha ku Ashley.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are coach ku Ashley. Sadlala amagame ayi6.
Yes.
From there we are happy because ngifuna siyilandelele. Siyeza kulabo coach labo sebenze na.
Yes.
Ake silambe ku Ashley.
Yeah.
Ma playoff uyabuya uza ku Dynamos ake sithathe nge-step.
Okay, after being with Ashley, I decided to go for my D license. But in the midst of all that, Togozo, I felt sometimes as a coach, you'd always want to have someone that you can work with closely, someone you can trust, someone who will always align with your thinking. You understand? So I then decided to excuse myself from that project of Ashley. I stayed at home for like a month and a half, and the word was out that I've left Ashley. Then there's a chairman from Njanga who was owning a team. I think the name of it was Zakele FC. Yes.
Babu Mdletshe.
Yes. Babu Mdletshe. He's the one who came to my place. He said, Coach, if anyone were to come and take you, let him come take you under my project because I know there are a lot of teams who would want to go for you. I think I was there for only 2 weeks. We had started the pre-season. Then I got a call from the chairman of Summerfield Dynamos, Mr. Colin Knight. He said he wanted to have a meeting with me because he had bought a status from PMP. I think he bought Sobantu. The team was languishing there at number 14. We went there. He also approached Coach Ronnie Gabriel. We both went there. We ended up finishing the season number 5. So we had to start the new season. We prepared everything from our pre-season to our in-season, which was very good. The second season, 2018, I remember very well. That is when we won the league and went to Cape Town for national playoffs.
Second time?
No, it's the first time.
Angithi uyama playoff ku Ashley.
Yeah. I went with Ashley. Yeah. Now it's the second time.
Nisho wena phela as a person.
Yes, as a person, it's the second time.
Yes.
And I'm always thankful to God because ngezulu sisimvule nganethi nombani. There are many of us who want to put that in their CV, which is something you hardly find. Yeah, I'm very thankful to God because bengalula because I don't want to lie. So Coach Ronnie Gabriel, he gave me a platform to grow under his leadership. Remember, he had won a promotion with Utongati. So he's got it in him. You know, this thing of winning to him has become a habitual. He's famous of that. So he said, Coach, we can do this thing. I said, Coach, you say so. I said, yeah, let me give you a platform. We went to Cape Town. We played. I remember very well, it was in our group, us, Summerfield, Steenberg, and JTR. And guess what? Both teams from our group were the ones who gained promotion. Steenberg and JTR. And JTR still exists today in NFT. Unfortunately for Steenberg, they were down and out. Out of that journey of having been to national playoffs, because it's a process, you understand? One gained a lot, my brother. I don't want to lie to you. And as I'm saying to you, I'm very thankful to Mr. Colin Naidu having to trust us with that project because it was huge. From there, we placed that team in the map. You know, it became known that Summerfield is going to be a team that has to be watched. We came back for another season. Unfortunately, it never worked. Then I left because I somehow felt I can stand on my 2 feet now, Togozo. Let me test the waters. Let me see how far I can explore. I went to a team called Friends FC, where we were co-coaches with Claude Tarim. We coached there, and we managed to take the team into the last 32 of Nedbank Cup. Unfortunately, COVID came in. We never played it. A very good change in the midst of all that. The season got finished. We never played in the net bank. Again, I got a call from Colin. I said, I think we've got an unfinished business. I want to push for the second time. There's a coach. I know that you are inspired to become a head coach. But the coach I'm bringing to this project, you can never be ahead of him or above him and say, I want to be a head coach. You know? I'm sitting at home. I received a call from Coach Clinton Lassen. How? I said, how? Hey, coach. By the way, he used to call me when they have larger pool of players conducting trials at Amazulu. It's either it's going to be him or Coach Mandla who will call me.
Golden Arrows.
Yes, at Golden Arrows.
Yeah.
It's some of the things that I have in my CV because they also grow me. You know, he would call me. So I was under that impression. But I'm asking myself, he doesn't have a team currently. So I wonder where he wants me and why is he calling me. He said, hey, coach, are you good? I said, I am okay. He said, coach, there's a project that I want us to take. And I want you to be my side man. I want you to come next to me. To fast forward the story, we went to the office. We had to sign everything at Summerfield. I had to take that. The offer was good. We started our preseason as usual. We did very well. Let me not shy away from that. We advanced to the last 32. That was the second time for me having been to the last 32. We played the last 16. We played the last 32 against Uthongati, which was led by Coach Pilani, Shange, and Coach Papi Zotwan. The game was played in Makoko Stadium.
Yeah.
Hey, we advanced. We saw ourselves advancing in the last 16. We played Eagles, Super Eagles. That is coached by Kabelo Sbia.
Yeah.
From there, we won. Hey, we sing ourselves playing in the quarterfinals now. Hey, Summerfield is known now. Summerfield is in the map. But one thing that stood out for me, which I'm very grateful of, having to play against African champions, which is Mamelodi Sundowns. Even Coach Lassen made it clear, said, regardless of the outcome, regardless of the score, you guys are truly blessed. It will go down in history that you have walked into that Clodcorp ground and have to partake against Mamelodi Sundowns. An overwhelming experience. Having to be sitting across your Rulani Mukwenas, your Mangoba Mnitis, your Steve Kompela. You know one thing Coach Mangoba said to me? He said, I've always told you that the best is yet to come. If you look back from where I saw you having to come and take these notes and seeing you here, your passion for the game will always take you places. Even though we may have lost that game, but it was a good thing for us, even us as coaches, especially for me, because I felt it was a great achievement to be in the quarterfinals. Yes, we lost by margin. It was 5-0. You know, even when we walked back into the hotel, the calls I was receiving, it was no longer about the scores now. It was what we have done as the management of Summerfield, the technical team, boiling down to the players.
Because that time you represent the province.
Exactly. It was no longer about Summerfield. Yeah. We were representing Etegwini region. We were representing KZN itself. Remember, it's a team that is campaigning in APC Motsepe League, but having to take part in a Nedbank Cup. Not only Nedbank to add numbers, but to reach the quarterfinals.
Play against the best.
My brother.
So then this season, you're Pela, and then...
Okay.
We're still a coach.
Yes.
The following season.
No. We are still in the same season. Remember now, we've got to balance because we're also getting advice from other coaches. The team is currently sitting on top. We were going to play Super Eagles after we had won against Uthongati. For us, the following week, that was going to decide our fate if we had won the league. Remember, now it's a psychological factor. You've got to deal with it. How you apply it to players. What is it that you tell players? It's not long about coaching now. What's happening on the field. You've got to manage them also off the field. So what happened is sometimes, that's why I'm also thankful to Coach Clinton Lassen, because in that platform, you're not bringing any tribalism into this part. He said, Coach, talk to them in Zulu. Talk some sense to them, because I know how you're going to apply yourself. He will just put me in the room, we'll sit with the players, engage, make them understand the importance of us having to win. Not only neglect our league games and mainly focus on the Nedbank. We played Tongati, we won on Wednesday, we won the game. Before we went to play Super Eagles the following week for this last 16 goal. Now, the interesting part, as we were going to go for this game, they still had to play at the side. I remember Motsepe League had 2 streams, like how it's happening now. So we were going to play friends. We played at home the first leg, we won 1-0. Second leg, we played with them. We had that home advantage, remember. They scored first. Hey, we were all panicking, I don't want to lie. Hey, we got an equalizer through Chablan Nen, former Leopards player. They call him Makoram. Scored a beautiful free kick. We ended up becoming victorious, and we had to represent eThekwini region into the national playoffs. Remember, we still have to play Sundowns. Now I'm going for the third time. Now when we're going to go for that game, tails are up. Even when we go to airports, hey, tails are up now. We're going to go for national playoffs. We still have to play Sundowns. It was all good. It was all good, my brother. When we came back, we had to prepare after that game against Sundowns. Now we have to go to Northwest for national playoffs. I think we started staying in Rustenburg. Yes, I think we were in Rustenburg for 1 week. Then we moved to Potch, University of Northwest, where we had to do the procedure of the registration and so forth. Unfortunately, on paper and how we had perceived ourselves to the nation at large, everyone had given Summerfield just a walk to NFT. And that was a lesson one had to take, because we still had to play. So I can't say I would really blame us as coaches. It was just that football coaches were just not with us, because we went there, we didn't do well.
Well prepared.
We were well prepared. I think the management did everything. Everything, my brother. That's the unfortunate part, because we never came out victorious, but there were lots of lessons taken out of that trip, going to Northwest. And that was my third time being in the national playoffs, because you've got to understand, Dogozo, sometimes you may try it, or rather forced to do things. If it's not your time, my brother, it's not going to happen. It's not.
So you came back from playoffs?
Yeah.
The season now, it's getting to the end.
Yes.
Or it's the end of the season?
We came back, we had to start a new season.
Okay.
I then requested to go for my next batch, which was KFC license.
All right.
Yeah, the team granted me that opportunity. I went there, I did my course, I finished it. Whenever I do a course, I always interact with my seniors, my mentors, because
so let me ask, because I always ask myself, who's paying for your purchase? Is the club or yourself?
No. I pay for myself.
Is it?
Sometimes when the club sometimes pay for you, I'm really sorry to say this, but it's the reality of the matter. Sometimes they feel they hold you at ransom. Even if you want to explore, leave for another project, there's always that thing. We paid for you.
Yeah.
Plus, sometimes if you want something, you need to be a go-getter. Go for it, So, as it goes up, even the
pages,
the amount, or rather the affiliation fees, start to be a mountain to climb, I've just affiliated for KFP now, which is 25,000, I have to raise funds. I have to raise funds for that, because there's no person who will pay for you. And you're growing yourself as a person.
Also, Mfethi, support. You are friends with business people. Support, perfect.
Yes.
You want to go somewhere, you want to go far. So it's raising funds for Utayo Wenza Ubiwak. So those who know him, those who can contribute, give him a shout out, Mfethi. Support. But one day now, it's going to be our own pizza, our own mangoba, our own mandla. So please, Mfethi. So we are with cause, we are boy. You still a Summerfield Dynamos coach.
Yes.
Iqhubeke iqale season. Clinton is still there.
Clinton is still there, but
Okay.
he never finished the season because he got an offer from Magesi.
Okay.
He called me on the side. That's why I always take my head off for that coach, because the way he valued me, it's so amazing. He called me to the side. He said, Coach, there's something that is looming, I need to go and see the chairman now, because I've been offered something, and it's an offer I can't refuse. Coach, what's your take? Can you guys take this project? I know that we've set a huge benchmark. Anyone who's going to come and fill these shoes, it's not going to be easy. But I see you ready, and I've always told you that you can even go as far as NFT now. The way you've applied yourself, the way you coach, what you say, please, can you guys carry on from where I've left off? I said, Coach, I don't see any problem, He then went to the office, he came back, the meeting was called. It was so emotional because there were some players who cried. Given the fact that the coaches created a very conducive atmosphere for everyone. The setup was very good. He left so much professionalism. We then worked with Coach Claude. We finished the season because we were also trying to steal it. Even though it was not in our hand, but we just felt, hey, let's also make a name for ourselves. Let's see how far we can go. So unfortunately, I think we finished fourth on the log. I told Coach Claude, I said, Coach, let me also explore. I've been given an offer. There's a team called Newcastle All Stars, the one who got relegated this season. There's a possibility that I might join them as a head coach now. If possibilities are there, please
allow me.
Just give me your blessings, my brother. Oh, that was it. I went there. Unfortunate part, sometimes things won't go your way. There's a lot that you need to adjust to. You need to acclimatize to weather conditions. You are away from home. Remember, being a first time for me, the behavior of the players. If a team is originally from a certain area, there'll also be politics. You've got to deal with that and be strong. Because if the head is not right, the body won't function. Sometimes being a leader, you'll take some decision which will make you become unpopular to the rest. But you've got to keep strong, because at the end of the day, the project has to go on. We then agree amicably to part ways. With no strings attached. I said I have to move. Also life has to go on. Then I was given a call by the manager of Hellenic, where Coach Papi Zotwane and his brother Tata Zotwane were coaching. The main reason I was in that project is because he made it clear. Coach Papi said, Ndod, I've been away to Montepelic for some time. You know the trends that are happening here. You know the team. You will come and analyze for me. I then went and joined the project. At a later stage, he left. He joined, what's this team? Black Leopard.
Black Leopard, yeah.
Being a person who was assisting, that's how it happened. We finished the season, then we finished everything, Titlo in PMP, I went there, I coached. Unfortunately, a result never came our way. We agreed to part ways. It happens.
Part of the game.
It's part of the game. Yeah. There's a saying that was always used by the late Coach Ted Dimitru, may his soul rest in peace. We attended a workshop here in Suncoast. He said, coaches, I can see you are full in this house. Are you aware what have you placed yourself in? Everyone was still not aware what was he talking about. He said, you guys are hired to be fired.
Clive Parker used to say that.
You are hired to be fired. You've brought yourself in this industry, so don't feel hard done. Because there's no chairman who's just going to chase you. Chances are...
Covers only to say you are all on transit.
Exactly. Coach Mkonza, formerly with what's his name, Mvoti and Msinga, he said to me, Coach, when you're going away to coach, always have a small bag. Yeah. Because tomorrow you'll be leaving.
Go on, Baba.
Yeah, because it happens. Yeah. So that was the unfortunate part. I left Titlo, but we agreed, well, to an extent that we still engage, we still talk. Some of the guys from there, they still seek for advice. Being a coach who's here for 14 years now. So what happened is I joined Durban Pioneer, but I recently joined them in a second round. I was approached by the chairman, Mr. Sizwe Msan. He had placed a very good setup. He had brought a very great personnel, Mabaso. They call him Shub, the one who used to play for Pirates, and he also played for Richards Bay.
Yeah.
Then there was Amazulu, who was playing for Galaxy, Richards Bay. Then there's Ba Mayongo in your location, formerly Amazulu. Then we've got Mato Kumalo, who had just visited you. Yeah. So these are some of the senior players. Mondli Mia, you know, Mzuvele Skosan. These are the senior players who have made it easy for me, you know, to gel in that project, because the team consists of those senior players who have made it so much easy for even youngsters who are in the team. The season is up now. We finished 5th, but I think it was just one overwhelming experience for me.
How's the response from those senior players who just mentioned now? Because they've been there, they've been coached by big name coaches, but now we are here, you know. How's the response? You know, are they giving you that respect?
You see, one thing, one, you have to be driven by passion. 2, also, let me be honest with you, my brother. Going for a badges is so important. Remember, football is a sport which is ever evolving. So you've got to equip yourself. And to deal with these senior players, it requires a certain skill. So if you are well equipped with knowledge and modern trends, you wouldn't find difficulties. In actual fact, these players are the ones who are going to support you and say, coach, hey, what a lovely session. You know why? Because the way you apply yourself. And you need to be firm and take a stand. You don't want to put fear in them. You don't want them to be scared of you. But you've got to be firm, precise, and straight to the point. So for them to understand you, because there are no two ways. Wrong is wrong, right is right. And you don't want favors from them. You know, if a player like Mato Kumalo doesn't attend the training, there must be a valid reason, because he must be exemplary to these youngsters. So now if you allow them just to walk all over the pitch and not train, it will boil down to players. Then you lose the change room. That's one thing I always do. You've got to be strict-wise. You've got to be smart with these players, because at Summerfield, I'll make another example. Maybe 60% of those players are applying their trade now in PSL. You have to deal with those players who were coached by senior coaches. You understand? Like Zuke, he was coached by Ted Dimitri. You once played with him. How do you deal with that player? Are you going to say something to him which he's going to apply his mind to it fully? Is he going to respond? You know? So that's how it has always been with me. But the response I was getting from them, coming back to your question, it has always been good, my brother, to an extent that sometimes they also suggest things to me. Say, coach, we saw something there. Maybe you never took note of it. Can we approach it in this manner? Remember, some of them are inspired to be coaches. Already they've started going for their badges. So I must also assist them going forward. Because now someone assisted you. Exactly.
You've coached close to 10 teams. So don't you feel like you need to go to another level and get another challenge?
Yes.
Are you getting any calls, or do you have a person who's representing you, like a agent? You know, because you know this game sometimes must have a representative.
Yes.
Because why I'm asking this, most of the coaches you work with, they've been there.
Yes.
You name them, the Patrice Otwane, the Capri, the Clinton, you know.
Yes.
So, what do you have in mind?
To be honest with you, I have never looked at it in terms of saying, let me also have someone who will be an agent to me. Because I wanted to create this brand first. I wanted to create this Mafa Zuma. Even when I get you, for an example, you to be my agent. Whenever you tell people or talk to people about me, I won't need any introduction. People will just know that this is Mafa Zuma. We know what he has done in the game. You understand?
What must you do? What my question is, done it all. 3, I'm a playoffs. APC Motsepe, coach more than close to 10 teams. Why is still here? Because he must go and experience Komanyama levels. Because next season, are you going back to APC Motsepe?
Let me be honest.
But now are you putting the CVs? Are you applying?
You know, I'll just mention his name.
Yeah.
Coach Mangoba. He said, my coach, just go for your P. Just go for your P because I also think it will also create many doors for you. You know, when big coaches like that sing praises about you, even you feel to have that confidence. But I just want to explore to this question you've just asked now. Those I've got to be honest with you, I will say this without any fear or favor. You know, sometimes it's difficult if you've never broke through professional ranks to break it to higher leagues in terms of coaching. I don't want to give you stats, but if you've never coached at or rather played at a professional level, sometimes it's difficult. But if you have played to that level, it becomes easy for you to be given your TDC team. It becomes easy for you to be a head coach of an NFD side. It becomes easy for you to be an assistant or a second assistant for a PSL team without going for your badges. I know sometimes it can be a bitter pill to swallow what I'm saying, but there are many coaches who have shared what I've said, you know, without having to shift the blame or having to make an excuse, but your way becomes easy if you have reached that level in terms of playing. But I also console myself in saying your time will come. Maybe I've got to pay my school fees and get more knowledge, you know, at this level. By the time I get there, I'll be more than ready. You know, it's not a matter of having to say, I want to prove a point to Ntokozo Skakan. No, it's what you do for yourself. Because you've just mentioned what I've achieved, you know. There are a lot of things. It's your experience, being in Motsepe League for 14 years. It's your badges also count. What qualifications do you have? You know? What achievements do you have as a person? You say you've won the league how many times? You've advanced to the next stage of the net bank. How far did you go? All those things comes into effect, you know. So it will come. I'm not afraid of that.
Can you coach a DDC team?
Yes, I can.
Motsepe Championship?
Yes, I can. Even though I may not have an experience of that, but one fortunate part about me, I'm always attending the games of Motsepe Championships.
Bay Premiership?
Honestly, I can be a coach who's willing to settle for the second place.
You're ready?
Yeah, I'm ready for
you
that.
are ready?
Yes.
If you can get a call, you are ready?
At any given moment, my brother.
Okay. Let's get into the side of... see here again, APC Motsepe, you're getting to the other side because I know recently you were coach of eThekwini Municipality.
Yes.
Masalka Games.
Yeah.
So that is another department. How was the challenge? Because now you're coaching players that you've never seen before. Players who've never been coached.
Yes.
You understand? But you are giving a mandate. Go there. We as a Tigwin, it's been a while with winning this Salka Games. So you want to win it. And when you go all the way to the final, how was it?
It's important for me to highlight and make also emphasis in thanking Coach Mata, who is the president, or should I say chairman of Verelem Safa Football, because he's the one who identified this position for me. It was not easy. Remember, it has to be a mother body, which is Safa. Then it comes soon. eThekwini region, your municipality, they interact, then they decide who's going to be heading the squad. I came at a time which was very tough. Remember, eThekwini hasn't been reaching the final for past 7 years. The last person who played the final and won it, it was Coach Dadasbia, the one who's a TDC coach now. He's the one who last won it. So I came with an amount of pressure. You know, it was not going to be easy. But I told them, I said, you have given me this position. Yes, there are many loopholes because we also need to look as to how the process of leading to the main games of Salka games is done. How they conduct trials for the players to be part of this project. You know, I raised many concern about it, but I think it's something they'll take note going forward. We played under the manager Grant, who was also there, the kid manager Ngobile and Ngubane. These people were very instrumental. My assistant coach was Sia. I forget his surname. Then it was Ayanda Jali, who was our goalkeeper coach. Great technical team, very small. These guys were so instrumental in us reaching the final. Remember the last game before the final, we had to win that game by 3 goals without conceding. We were playing in Princess Makoko. And guess what there was? We ended up winning that game by 4 goals to 0. Something that was unthinkable, you know. So when we played those games, we reached the finals, and many people were happy. We played the finals in King's Wellington Stadium. There's one businessman who approached me. He asked about my qualifications, and I told him my wish now is to go for my KFP. He asked me about it. Then he said to me, I'm willing to pay half of that amount. Now, hence I'm thanking eThekwini Municipality with SAFA, because now it created a platform for me to be seen, the exposure, and gain this support, you know, of having to be supported when I'm going for my KFP license.
Sorry to cut you. Have you approached them in terms of funding?
No.
You?
Honestly speaking, I haven't.
To support.
Honestly, it never came to my mind. It has never occurred.
The municipality is there to support those who are doing programs.
Yes.
Those who are doing good things for the municipality. I believe they can support you.
It has never occurred on my mind.
Yeah, but I'm advising you, you must try it.
Thanks for my advice.
Because as we just said now, someone who was watching the game approached you.
Yes.
From nowhere.
Yeah.
But these guys, you were part of their project.
Yes.
They can support you.
Maybe it's one route, great thinking.
Yeah, we have to try.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to try that route
because number one day they'll be proud.
True. But I'm also thankful to eThekwini Municipality, including SAFA eThekwini, for creating that platform for me to be seen by the world in terms of having to coach our region. From
that bunch of players you were coaching, Masalka, any players you can recommend?
Hey, there's quite a lot. The sad part about this, football nowadays, there are a lot of agents. By the time you mention someone's name, he's trying to sell my player to someone. You understand? But there's quite a lot. I'm just happy. There's one by the surname of Mgwengwe. He signed a PSL contract now with Skukun. He was the captain of our Salka squad. There are 3 players who are currently applying the trade DDC for what's his name? Golden Arrows.
It's not the same guy I was asking you about Sugar.
It's the very same one.
Nkwegwe.
Yeah.
There is quality.
It's the very same
I asked the coach, that player, can I take him to Chiefs?
I'm very much happy and proud.
But then he was part of Golden Arrows. But that boy is talented.
Very much talented. You know, and I had a group of boys who gave us so much respect. Sometimes they say, your work will always speak volumes. Those boys, when they arrived to us, they knew what we were capable of. And to an extent that some of them even said it, hey coach, it's been a privilege. We've always wanted to work with you. I said to them, but this thing is very short. It's a short thing. We're just going to be here for like 2-3 weeks. But they said, hey coach, nevertheless, we just want to see how you do things going forward. How can you assist us? I still interact with them.
Next season, going back to your team? Or just waiting for offers?
I think that will only depend. If I get a team where there'll be a contract offered, it's going to be difficult for me to go back to Salka squad. But if I'm still campaigning like in one of the team in Motsepe League, it doesn't coincide. By the time we play our league games, they normally close during that period. So I won't see any problem. After all, we've got to give back like we've always maintained. This is my region. If they still offer me, I'll always be there to avail myself. Whether I'm advising or I'm sitting there as the coach, this is my region. I'll always plow back.
Yeah, no, coach, on that one, I agree with you, and I second you. All the time, when I'm hosting tournaments, when I'm hosting soccer camps, he will pop in, you know, he will conduct coaching clinics, he will coach the boys there, you know, so he's giving back. Let's get back to your tournament.
Yes.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's no more playing. Maybe you can brief us because I believe it's one of the biggest in KZN. I remember when it started, we were still playing.
Yes.
And everyone knows about Heroes Cup, June 16, Chesterville. What happened? Is it coming back, or we know it's not going to come back again?
Hey, thank you for that question, Togozo, because I think it's important for me as a person who was heading that project, just to clear the air. When I started being more serious in the coaching world, I think I somehow lost the way or interest of doing things with the tournament. But the main reason why the tournament had to stop, remember there were floods that hit the whole of eThekwini region. But before that, there was COVID. That is when the tournament stopped. Because after the COVID, the tournament never came back. But what made it worse is the floods that really affected our Chesterville pitch. Our sports facilities were mostly damaged. Our Chesterville swimming pool has just recently opened. So it takes a village to raise a child. It simply means Mafa can't do it alone in sorting out the facilities in Chesterville. If you look at the sports field in Chesterville, it's the one to be desired. The unfortunate part is that somehow we are told now there is a budget for that ground. And let me tell you, my brother, we are working day and night to make it a point that Heroes Cup comes back. In the actual fact, we will have it this year. And I must also give credit to the people who never sat back and relaxed, especially your likes of Mangobam Keys, because they've always been attending Heroes Cup. And he came to me personally, seeking for some advice in some of the things. Hence, you notice him. He has never done Kaba Cup on the 16th of June, the way he respected calendar for Chesterville. He always does it 1 week before. And the tournament has grown in Umlazi, and I must applaud Mangoba Mkhize and his Okana and his LOC. Those people have done great job. We are respected in KZN, we are respected in eThekwini Ngalia tournament. Those people have done great job. With Abompo from Choma, I take my hat off. I take my hat off and I respect them. We can't be saying we've got to be jealous of what they are doing just because we also had a tournament on the on the 16th of June. No. As brothers, we need to assist one another because initially when he started this project, he came to me, he asked about it. He said he's thinking of doing something similar to this. And then he did it. You know, hence we are always there supporting his tournament because they don't coincide with what has always been happening in June 16. So, to cut the long story short, yes, Heroes Cup will be coming back and people must expect a lot because even our Honorable MEC, Ubab Duma, took notes as he was doing his tournament in Porshep's team. He spoke highly about the Heroes Cup because it changed a lot of people's lives. Let's not be doing away with that. It did so much impact in people's lives. So we won't be doing justice, Togozo, if we don't bring that cup back.
Can you give us maybe 3 or 4 or 5 names, players who've played the tournament and made it to the highest level?
There's a lot. You've got your Ricardo Kos. You've got your Mondli Mia. You've got Menzi Krili playing for Midford now. It is quite few. Names may not be coming up to me now, but it is quite few. And I'm very happy. You've got Sianda Tulu, was playing for Super Sports. You've got Bongi Duli, the late Bongi, playing there. As far as what's his name, Mapudi Kanyes, yourself included, Togoso. These are the people. Your late Senzo Meiwa. These are the people who started this tournament. You know, if I were to count names, hey, we can take the whole day because a lot of players who played in the tournament.
And the good part of it, it happened during the off season.
Yes.
When those boys they are off season, they don't just sit at home.
That's why
they know that they will come to Heroes Cup.
Yes.
And keep themselves fit.
That's why
all the scouts will pop in.
True. That's why we said we want to unadd talent because it was mainly based on there. So we said maybe our concept will slightly differ this time around. We can have like 4 or 5 professional players. Then the rest 5 must be under 23s because we want these players to be known. We want these players to be seen by the world because your likes of James Lamini, the manager of Golden Arrows, they are always there. Even the big coaches, Omandla Ncikazi, Coach Mangoba Mnqiti, Ronnie Gabriel, Yopito, Dladla, Simo Dladla, quite a number of coaches who attend this tournament and they take players from there.
So are we confirming now the tournament is back? Can you give us the dates or you share the information as time goes on?
Let me confirm with the dates. Of course, I will kindly love to have your platform when it's time for me to give the full information. But one thing I can assure you with is that the tournament is coming back. With the confirmation of the date, the concept will always stand. We play 1 week before. Then on the 16th, we normally play the semi-final on that day and the finals. We have entertainment in between. That has always been the concept of the tournament. But just to give more clarity on it, I will have to come back to you, my brother, and share the full information with regard to the tournament.
Are we invited as legends?
As
so shall I pass?
As I'm saying, there's a lot
of invited.
There's a lot of changes now. You'll be seeing your likes of OJs, your Sangwenis, your Ntokozo Skakane, Jabulo Mangane, Pilane Shange, Ayanda Kaba. Hey, the list is endless, my brother.
In terms of support system, your sponsorship, your partnership, how was it at the time? Isadlala or being echo?
No. We've got to make it a point that we thank people that have been on board with us. Score is one of them. Unomfowethu lapha uzikalala uLinda who's been so instrumental from the time we started this project. He's always been there. Then we had Wade. I'm told now he's more working abroad. Wade from Hollywood. They've always been on board. You have municipality, Gnosis Lapa, Ulala, Waranzuza. One person who've always helped us. Yourself, Coach Ntokozo Skakane, in making sure that we get professional players to come and get and race for our finals. You know, there's a lot. Our local businesses, your Chesterville Taxi Association, Mojos, Kawash, Usbula Pana, umfowethu osiza kakhulu. Baningi kakhulu umfowethu abantu who try to lay a hand because it's no longer about having to have an entertainment, but what happens after. That's the important thing.
We'll pop in, but we'll pop in. Before we out. Let's touch on our South African football now a bit. Bafana, they're doing very well recently. You see ourselves going to the AFCON and win it after we lost to Nigeria the last time. Seeing ourselves going to the World Cup.
For the very first time, Ntokozo, my brother, let me be vocal on that one. You see, it doesn't start there. Our domestic football has done, or rather they've helped Coach Hugo Bruce immensely building to what he has gained or produced today. Having to participate in African competitions for your likes of Stellenbosch, Mamelodi Sundowns, Orlando Pirates have made it easy for our current coach at the Bafana team because we are able to familiarize ourselves with the setup of playing in cup competitions in Africa. So I can say it without fear or any favor. This time around, it reminds me of our late coach, Mr. Clive Barker, having to help us to win the Africa Cup of Nations. I think those days, those glory days are back. It's just that our current coach needs our support. He really needs our support at all costs. And one thing I love about him, he takes a stand. You know, sometimes when you are coaching a Bafana team or you are a manager, you will have people popping in the hotel trying to convince you otherwise. We hardly hear those stories now. I think it's one thing that is helping this coach. You know, you will have agents who come and persuade you playing Togozo's Kakan because you feel that he must be seen by the world. But on merit, does he deserve to be in the team? No. We must give credit to this coach for this job he's doing. You know, I don't care how you see it, but that's my approach or take on this current team of Bafana Bafana.
Pirates, Sundowns, Stellenbosch, through to the semis. Are we seeing one of these teams lifting the cup?
Possibilities are there. Yeah. Football has become more commercialized. What do I mean by that? It's more of a business than just putting entertainment. So, if you want to have a good team, invest on it. You know, I was just looking at the stats. There's a time where Sundowns only had 2 players in their team that was playing. Mostly you'd have them from abroad, your Africa and so forth. That tells you they are willing to fork out cash and buy players. You understand? So even for a team like Kaizer Chiefs, it should be counted amongst the best. And I'm just happy for them that they've reached the final. I'm happy for a Nedbank team because take nothing away from the rest of the teams, but it's a fact we can't run away from. Chiefs is one of the big teams in Africa. So having to see them languishing down there, it's a bitter pill to swallow, you know. So this time around, I'm very much happy for a team like Kaizer Chiefs, not having to place them in your question, but I'm just trying to put the message across. If you look at the team like Stellenbosch, they've invested. You look at Orlando Pirates, you look at Sundowns. So I see us in one of those teams having to place a star.
Sundowns, are they winning it again? The Betway Premiership? Or Pirates getting close? With some points deducted after the case of Rule M? What's your intake on that?
That's a very good one because now what has happened is that people are slowly taking it up the ladder in terms of competitiveness, which is a very good thing. You know, now they've made it difficult for us as to say we know that it's going to be obvious. It's good when it's becoming more of competitive in terms of saying this one is going to win it. But still, I still maintain the momentum will always carry them through. They'll still take it. I don't want to lie to you, my brother. I'm just putting a reality on this one. Yes, Pirates is a team that is doing well. They are getting there, but I don't think Sundowns will be demoralized by the point that have been deducted from them due to Royal AM, because not only them, there are even the rest of the team that have won against Royal AM. It's either 3 points or it's 1 point. So coming back to your question, Bafo, I'm still saying that Sundowns will maintain not only a momentum, but you know when you make winning habitual, the rest becomes easy.
There will be no automatical relegation team from the Betway Premiership because of the case of Raleigh M.
Yes.
So there will be
playoffs. Yeah.
So who's going to play off?
I've seen Makesi of late doing very well because especially when Coach Clinton left, one would feel because of the understanding he had with the team, it's going to be difficult for any coach who's going to be coming, to change the fortunes, But I must give credit to them. They've done fairly well. The unfortunate part, one of our teams here in KZN who are still languishing there. It's a reality that we are still down there, but with the hope, fortunate enough, I'm there whenever they are playing home games, Richards Bay. I know that we will turn the fortunes under the leadership of Coach Papi Zotwane, Coach Ronnie Gabriel, Kumete, who's also there, the team will turn around. There's a lot that's still going to happen. One thing I must also comment about them, they use a lot of youngsters. You know, if they can keep this team, this is the team for the future.
But they must survive.
But they must survive.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just mentioning few teams whom are languishing down. You know, the possibilities of talking about your relegations. Those are some of the teams that you can just make mention of. You understand? But in totality, it's going to be difficult to tell, because honestly.
Are you seeing any team from our province? Hey, Master, the top 8. Amazulu have been there, but are we seeing our own from KZN playing top 8 next season?
My honest opinion, I don't know whether it has an effect, this thing of having to lose one of the technical member of Coach Vusmuzi Vilakazi, because they've created great cohesion between Coach Ata, Coach Nini, and Ukanu. So when he left, I don't know, maybe it somehow has an impact, because I'm noticing they are a team that is becoming somehow inconsistent. I was there in Kings Olitini when they played Richards Bay, they won. But how they applied themselves, you could see that the goal was going to come, and ended up winning the game. From their ball circulation, your approach to middle third, to final third, line breaking passes, it was all looking good. You could tell that it's a well-coached team. Hence, they ended up winning the game. But now when they go away, they are not doing well on the road. You know, they lost against Stellenbosch. They also lost against Chipa, if I'm not mistaken. So you can tell it's one team that doesn't do well on the road. I think Coach Ata, for a man of his caliber, it's something that is going to work on. Unfortunately, we will reach the top 8.
The experience of Mangoba, back at Arrows, you seeing any changes?
There's quite a lot, you know. Having to understand his style of play, his philosophy. He's one coach who always applies his mind fully. And when he wants something to be done, players will always apply themselves fully. I'm hearing people saying it was a fluke because it was his first game when he played against Mamelodi Sundowns. Remember, he had few days to be with the boys. That goes to show the student of the game as to how he applies his mind, because the players bought to it immediately. What was the final score? He ended up throwing that game. He came back, he won against Chiefs.
Yeah.
Now you tell me that was a fluke? No. The guy is doing wonders. And I can tell you, if he keeps this consistent, it's one of the teams that will be counted amongst the best.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm very much delighted and happy. I did try to call Umanto because I wanted to give her a courtesy call and say, "Siyabonga ma."
Right.
Because when you put Coach Bilankul, no KG, yes, they are inspired to become good coaches, but they also need to be guided by the seniors, you know, and they took it well, hence the results are coming, golden arrows as well. Remember, I have a very big soft spot for those teams, especially when you talk of Amazulu and golden arrows, because I played for them, you know. I know the culture of these teams, you know, even though I may have played at the junior ranks, but there's always a soft spot for them. So nje to umanto ayisabonga kuma ukuthi asilethele ucoach of Coach Manqoba's caliber.
Okay, no time, just call me then. I guess if I go Motsepe Championship.
Yeah.
We see Durban City doing very well there. Are we seeing them winning a straight promotion, or Bazuyangma playoff because they are dropping points?
Yeah.
They are dropping points. Is the pressure, or do we have enough squad, balanced squad, which be promoted to a better way?
I'll start by acknowledging they call him Otsoza, the goalkeeper coach there, who has done a sterling job in that department. Then we have coach Usimo Dladla, who is the head coach. Bese Upitso Dladla, who is an assistant coach. Just to name the few. Not exactly. Sometimes you need to work with people that you trust.
No,
which is not the case.
It's a joke.
Which is not the case. Unini Vilagazi. Yes, Vilagazi. 3, you understand?
Yeah. No, it's a joke.
It's a joke. So I get a chance to be closer to them from time to time because we have set ourselves that every Tuesday we normally play a friendly against Durban City. So I interact with those coaches. They are my brothers in actual fact. I don't think 2-3 weeks will pass without having to meet with them because those are some of my mentors, these coaches that I've just mentioned. Yes, it's not going to be easy, Toros. It's not going to be easy. The higher you go, the harder it becomes. They haven't been doing well on the road. It's an open secret. It's something that we can't shy away from. But they can make it easy for themselves when they are playing at home because they've done well when they are playing at home. But to answer your question, my brother, yes, they will get automatic promotion. I'm always there when they are playing home game. You know, there's nothing nice being able as a coach to see a structure from a team. It's the organization, it's the shape, how the team is structured, the formation, you know. There's nothing nice as a coach if you are watching a team from the stand. You can be able to tell, no, this is a well-coached team, which is the case with Durban City. You know, even when they are about to make subs, you know who's going to come in and what the game calls for. It's easy for you to tell. They will introduce Toros Kakane now because we can see we are leading comfortably. Now we just want to maintain, you know, and sustain this pressure. It's going to be easy if they introduce Toros. Being a person who's neutral, if I can be able to tell that that team is well coached.
Chiefs or Pirate Netbank?
I'll give it to Chiefs.
Left this season? Left the season? 2 season, number 2000.
What a tough one, eh? But honestly speaking, you look for consistency, you look for a number of games that you play, you look for position. I'll give you an example. If you say you are looking for maybe one of the 210s or a position of an attacking player, obviously you looked as is he good with 1v1s? Is he a player who creates goals? Is he a player who scores goals? You know. Now for me, I'll have Mofokeng Player. I'll have him in the chasing pack. I know there are some youngsters who will come there. But I'm talking of a player who has represented us also in Africa. I'm talking of a player who's been playing week in, week out. I'm talking of a player who's campaigning in the Bafana team. You know, I'm talking of a player who always maintains his freshness because if you look at the number of games the Pirate plays, the number of Bafana games plays, the boy is always there, you know. So for me, I'd say he's the one.
Pirates, they are looking for a new coach. Or there must be a new coach.
Yeah.
Because there are rumors that the coach is going home. It will be no more next season.
Yeah.
Any coach that can take over there, you may think of?
Sometimes when there's always a base or a foundation, it tends to undermine that foundation if you just bring someone. There's my mentor who's there, who happens to be Coach Mandla Ncikazi. It's unfortunate because the brand itself, it's a brand that consists of so much history. You know, having him in a setup, I'm very much happy for him. Maybe he can also need someone who will work closely with him. You know, even if you say he can be a co-coach with him because he has familiarized himself with the setups of Orlando Pirates. Maybe if you bring your Pitso Mosimanes, if you bring your Rolanis, the unfortunate part is that sometimes when a coach comes, he always wants to come with his setup. You understand? So I think those are some of the things that must be considered when you bring someone at Pirates. But to cut to the chase, I'd prefer if we keep someone within our country. I know it's a big project. Sometimes we always think, even abroad, we have to look abroad. You know, sometimes we also need to test ourselves, you know, because also your likes of Coach Mandla Ncikazi have been learning. You understand? So why not give it to them? Give them that opportunity to explore. What are we grooming if we're not going to give them that platform?
Mofokeng Zuma.
Put.
Mfethu, we wish you all the best. Your tournament, wish can be a success, can get sponsors, you can get support. Also, your B,
Yes.
your KEF B,
Yes.
we wish all the best. I so wish people that can support you, contribute, you go and study.
Yeah.
So one day you'll be our best coach.
Thank you very
And
much.
also in your coaching career,
Yeah.
I wish you can get a team next season. And then I want to see you there with your brothers that you've worked with them before. Sesi Valence now, anything to say to the viewers?
Let me take this opportunity first and foremost and thank Mr. Ntokozo Kolobas Kakane, who's also my brother in the football world, for creating such a great platform for me to explore, and also thank him for giving our brothers an opportunity to gain exposure through his platform. It doesn't go unnoticed. You have created, Tokozo, a very good brand with your team, and I'm hoping that there are many of us who will gain and also grow through such platform. In totality, I also want to take this opportunity and thank parents for allowing their kids to be guided by us through our leadership, which is not easy. Lastly, let me also advise our players, especially to the current crop. Let us take our football serious. Let us make sure if you're applying your trade in a professional ranks, you make it a habit that you invest the little that you get when you talk about your finances, so that it's going to be easy for you, because football is a very short-term career. If you don't invest well, nothing will happen. The people will end up talking and saying negative things about you. But if you get proper guidance and proper advice, it's gonna be easy for you to grow through this profession. So on that note, I want to wish everyone a good, happy Easter holidays, and may everyone be blessed. Thank you so much.
Guys, that was Coach Mafa. I hope at home now you understand which lo muntu lo dale coach lapha mfethu akayephezulu manje. Also want to thank our sponsors, uPetros, uScores, Suit, Skathele manje. uF man uyadla leya muntu. And also there is a voucher for those who comment kakhulu nalabo abasubscribeayo. So sithi nje bafethu keep on supporting. Without nina ngeke sikhule. Ama comment amaningi ngiyabona where you must improve. Siyawathanda because that one day sifuna ukukhula and then sibe lapha njengabanye.
Now we spoke English together.
So today sithoka bambe English. Dala nifuni English, hey? Le ndoda le lethi indoda English man. And then sim support. All bafethu also please support him. Tournament iyabuya June 16 at Chesterville Heroes Cup. Come in numbers, you'll see your legend, you'll see your current players. And thanks to Bet Center, ekhaya list 2, our home. Khona sisothanda ukudla lekhaya ngengimushe ngegama.
But you guys, my family,
please guys support, subscribe, comment, like. So bonana ngezayo sesiphuma nje sithi danko, we out.